Chair now recognizes Dr. Selden for 5 minutes.
Thank you for the opportunity to testify here today. My name is Dr. Rebecca Selden, and I'm a senior fellow for the Nereus program, Predicting Future Oceans at Rutgers University. I'm an expert on the impacts of warming on ocean ecosystems and the consequences for fishing communities. Fisheries are the lifeblood of many coastal communities in the U.S. and contribute billions of dollars to national GDP. The United States also has some of the best managed fisheries in the world. Our reliance on science-driven management has resulted in a dramatic improvement in the performance of our fisheries over the last 10 years. Unfortunately, warming waters threaten that continued success. Today, my testimony will focus on the impact of warming on fish and fisheries. I want to make 3 points. 1, marine species follow changes in ocean temperatures, often moving towards the poles and deeper as the oceans warm. 2, fishing communities are directly impacted by the loss of important fishery species and by the potential gains of new species within fishing grounds. And 3, management can be more nimble in dealing with distribution shifts. The sooner we act, the better we can ensure our fisheries continue to support jobs, food, and economies throughout our country despite ocean change. The risk that changing ocean conditions pose for fisheries was demonstrated by the warm blob on the West Coast between 2013 and 2016. A mass of unusually warm water, 2 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, spread from Alaska to Baja California, leading to mass starvation of seabirds, strandings of sea lions, and record low returns of coastal salmon. Fishery disasters stemming from these warm ocean conditions were ultimately declared for salmon fisheries in California, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska, with total losses exceeding $70 million. Unfortunately, extreme events like the warm blob are only predicted to get more frequent and more intense with continued warming. These impacts are added on top of long-term warming trends that are already stressing ocean ecosystems. Rapid warming in the last few decades off the northeast coast of the U.S. has driven species to move northward to avoid warm water. For example, populations of black sea bass used to be centered off the coast of Virginia in the 1960s and are now off of New Jersey. On the Pacific coast, the changes have also been striking, where warming has allowed arrowtooth flounder to invade areas of the eastern Bering Sea. Flounder is a voracious predator of walleye pollock, the fish found in McDonald's filet-o-fish sandwich. Pollock is an important fishery, the largest by volume in the U.S., and it's at risk from increased predation by flounder. This suggests that fisheries will be affected not only by shifts in species that we harvest, but also by shifts in the predators and prey of important fishery species. Fishers are truly on the front lines in dealing with shifting fish stocks. Fishers in Rhode Island have observed black sea bass in the Gulf of Maine for the first time. Those in Massachusetts are now seeing year-round populations of summer flounder. And New Jersey fishers have told us that warming has, quote, left us with no squid to catch unless we travel 100 miles, and we are not those types of wanderers. This sentiment reflects similar experiences throughout fishing communities along the eastern seaboard. Large trawlers from North Carolina steam 3 days north to catch summer flounder off the coast of New Jersey before returning home to land the fish, burning excess fuel and driving up costs. However, our research revealed that the vast majority of fishing communities continue to fish within their traditional fishing grounds. For most fishers, it is undesirable to move away from those places at sea where they have fished for decades, despite the changes they see on the water. Integrating shifting fish stocks into management is an issue likely to become even more important with future climate change. Black sea bass is projected to move another 300 miles north by 2100. Some species are expected to move more than 600 miles if emissions continue as they are now. Importantly, shifting species into new fishing areas may represent a valuable opportunity for emerging fisheries. However, with continued warming, the number of stocks straddling international boundaries is poised to increase. This highlights the value of using models that predict where we expect fish to go so that we can begin proactive management now to minimize future conflict. These types of models, in effect, let us drive with the headlights on so that we're not stumbling blindly forward in our efforts to make fisheries climate ready. At this point, the scientific evidence is clear. It's not whether species will move, it's when. Further, the more we stress ocean ecosystems with continued warming, the more severe events like the warm blob are likely to become. The good news is that we can make our management more nimble to deal with shifting fish stocks. 2 needs I see based on my research are 1, to utilize the best available science to detect, anticipate, and respond to changes in fish stocks, and 2, to coordinate management across jurisdictions where those species are likely to cross management boundaries. This committee can serve an important role in enabling that coordination and integration. I also want to emphasize that climate change makes it even more important to ensure fish stocks remain healthy and overfishing is not occurring, as depleted stocks are less resilient to climate change. Taking an integrated view of the impacts of climate and fisheries on marine resources will make it more likely that we continue to have healthy fish stocks and vibrant fishing communities for years to come. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this testimony.
Thank you, Dr. Selden. We'll now begin the questioning, and I will recognize myself for 5 minutes.